The awakening of humanity's legacy. Under the crimson sky of Arion 7, a barren wasteland scarred by millennia of relentless storms, humanity stirred once more. The ground quaked as heavy machinery bored into the planet's surface, a testament to humanity's stubborn refusal to fade into obscurity. Arion 7, once deemed uninhabitable, had become the sanctuary of the last remnants of the human race after Earth was annihilated by the Galactic Council over 3,000 years ago. Deep below the planet's surface, Director Amina Solari, the elected leader of the United Human Colonies, stood in the heart of their subterranean city, Haven. Her expression was stern yet hopeful as she gazed at a newly excavated chamber, lit with the soft glow of bioluminescent minerals. Engineers and scientists scurried around her, their voices buzzing with excitement over a groundbreaking discovery. Director Solari called Dr. Leora Hensley, the lead archaeologist, as she approached with hurried steps. Her eyes shone with a mixture of fear and exhilaration. "You need to see this immediately." Amina nodded, her boots echoing on the metallic floor as she followed Leora into the chamber. There, embedded in the wall of rock, was an enormous black monolith, etched with symbols unknown to even their most advanced linguists. A panel on its surface blinked faintly with pale blue light, defying the centuries it had been buried beneath the surface. "What is it?" Amina asked, her voice a blend of awe and caution. Leora gestured to a tablet displaying scans of the object. "It's not just a relic, it's a repository. Its energy signature matches pre-destruction Earth technology, a time when humanity was at its peak." The room fell silent as everyone realized the implications. Amina stepped closer, placing her hand just above the cold surface of the monolith. "Activate it," she ordered. With a nod, Leora tapped a few keys on her portable console. The room filled with a low hum as the monolith responded. Symbols on its surface began to glow, shifting and rearranging themselves until a hologram sprang to life. A figure materialized before them, an older man with sharp features and an air of authority. His gaze swept across the chamber as if aware of their presence. "If you are seeing this," the hologram began, "then humanity has endured. My name is Dr. Elias Kane, head of Project Exodus. What I'm about to share is both a warning and a promise." The room was entranced as Dr. Kane's hologram continued, detailing a grim history that had been buried for millennia. The Galactic Council, he explained, had orchestrated Earth's destruction out of fear of humanity's potential. Earth had been obliterated in a single calculated strike, and the survivors were forced to flee to the edges of the galaxy, hunted like vermin. "But we were not powerless," Kane said, his voice trembling with restrained fury. "Before Earth fell, we preserved everything: our technology, our culture, our resilience, within a series of monoliths scattered across the stars. This is one of them." A collective gasp rippled through the chamber. Amina's heart raced as Kane's words painted a picture of unimaginable betrayal and the indomitable will of her ancestors. "This monolith contains the plans for Phoenix Prime, a weapon of unimaginable power," Kane revealed. "It was designed not for destruction, but for survival, a beacon of hope to restore what was lost. But be warned, the Galactic Council will not stand idly by." The hologram faded, leaving the room in stunned silence. Amina turned to her team, her voice steady but charged with determination. "We've lived in hiding for too long. If this is truly the legacy of our ancestors, we will rise again." Leora's voice trembled with emotion as she asked, "But Director, if we activate Phoenix Prime, won't it bring the Council down on us?" Amina's gaze hardened. "Let them come. Humanity was forged in the fires of adversity. We've been underestimated for too long. It's time they learned that a spark in the darkness." The cavernous depths of Haven thronged with energy as the reconstruction of Phoenix Prime advanced at an extraordinary pace. The subterranean city, once a quiet refuge, now echoed with the sounds of machinery and the focused chatter of engineers, scientists, and soldiers. The ancient monolith had revealed its secrets slowly, offering glimpses of technology far beyond anything the remnants of humanity had ever seen. Director Amina Salari paced along the observation deck, overlooking the construction site. Below her, massive mechanical arms carefully assembled the sleek and imposing weapon. It wasn't just a weapon, it was a statement. The Phoenix Prime was a towering embodiment of humanity's defiance, its core pulsing faintly with a pale golden light that seemed to resonate with life itself. Director called Commander Relic Ward, the leader of Haven's military forces, as he approached with a grim expression. His broad shoulders seemed to carry the weight of every soldier under his command. "We have a problem." Amina turned to face him, her brow furrowed. "What is it?" Relic handed her a datapad, his voice low and urgent. "We intercepted a signal. The monolith's activation triggered a long-range alert. The Galactic Council knows we're here." Amina's heart sank, but her resolve hardened. "How much time do we have?" 2 weeks at best, Relic replied. "Scouts report Council ships mobilizing near the edge of our sector. We'll face a full-scale assault if we're not prepared." Amina gripped the datapad tightly, her mind racing. They had hoped for more time, but humanity had always thrived under pressure. "Then we need to accelerate the timeline. Phoenix Prime must be operational before they arrive." Relic nodded, his face set with determination. "I'll ensure our defenses are ready, but the Council's forces are vast. We'll need more than Phoenix Prime to survive." Amina looked out over the construction site, her gaze unyielding. "We'll fight with everything we have. Humanity's survival depends on it." The rising resistance. Deep within the archives of the monolith, Dr. Leora Hensley and her team uncovered a second layer of information, a strategic database detailing hidden caches of pre-destruction Earth technology scattered across the galaxy. These caches, forgotten relics of humanity's golden age, held the potential to turn the tide of the coming conflict. "We can't retrieve them in time," one of the researchers protested. "The Council's forces are too close." Leora's expression was resolute as she looked up from the glowing holographic map. "We don't need all of them. Just one, Cache Alpha. It contains a fleet of automated drones and tactical ships. With that, we can hold our ground long enough to deploy Phoenix Prime." Amina approved the plan, and a small, elite team was assembled to embark on the dangerous mission. Commander Relic himself volunteered to lead the expedition, knowing the stakes were too high to delegate. "I'll bring it back," he promised Amina before departing. "Or I won't come back at all." The mission to Cache Alpha. The team's starship, Resolute Dawn, cut through the void of space like a shard of light, its engines burning brighter than the dim stars around them. The crew on board was a mix of seasoned veterans and brilliant engineers, each hand-picked for the mission. Among them was Kira Valen, a young pilot whose skill in navigating treacherous asteroid fields was unmatched. Cache Alpha is located in the Orion Abyss. Relic briefed the crew as the ship sped toward its destination. It's a high-risk zone, swarming with Council patrols. We'll have to slip in undetected, extract the fleet, and return to Haven before they realize what's happening. As the ship entered the abyss, Kira's hands moved deftly over the controls, weaving through dense asteroid clusters and avoiding detection from nearby Council patrols. Her voice crackled over the comms. "We've got movement. 3 Council frigates on our 6. They're scanning the area." "Stay calm," Relic instructed, his tone steady. "Engage stealth protocols and hold your course." The crew held their breath as the ship drifted silently past the frigates, their scanners unable to penetrate the Resolute Dawn's cloaking field. Minutes felt like hours until the Council ships veered off, unaware of the human vessel's presence. "We're clear," Kira announced, exhaling in relief. The ship reached Cache Alpha, a massive asteroid hollowed out to house an ancient hangar. Inside were rows of sleek, unmanned drones and tactical ships gleaming under the faint light of the asteroid's core. The technology was pristine, as if untouched by time. Relic and his team worked quickly to activate the fleet, their movements precise and efficient. But as the last drone powered up, alarms blared throughout the hangar. The Council had discovered them. "Get those ships online now," Relic barked as the crew scrambled. Council forces descended on the hangar, their ships filling the asteroid's sky. Relic's team launched the automated fleet, and the hangar erupted into chaos as drones engaged the enemy. The Resolute Dawn weaved through the firefight, its crew firing back with precision. "Fleet is operational," Relic confirmed over the comms. "We're heading back to Haven." A beacon of defiance. Back at Haven, Amina stood before her people, the eve of battle. As the Council fleet closed in, Amina called for a final council of war. The leaders of Haven's military, scientific, and engineering divisions gathered in the command center. A holographic map displayed the approaching enemy fleet, a daunting mass of starships in perfect formation. "They'll attempt to overwhelm us with their sheer numbers," Relic explained, pointing to key clusters on the map. "But their strength is also their weakness. If we can disrupt their central command structure, their coordination will falter." Leora interjected, her voice calm but urgent. "Phoenix Prime is nearly ready. Once it's deployed, it can act as both a weapon and a shield, but we'll need to hold the line long enough for the energy field to stabilize." Amina nodded, her mind racing as she considered the odds. "We use the automated fleet as a diversion," she decided. "Draw their fire, disrupt their formation, and buy time for Phoenix Prime. Every second counts." The Council dispersed, each leader carrying their burden with quiet determination. The fate of humanity hung by a thread, but no one voiced doubt. The night before, as the final hours before the battle ticked away, Haven fell into a tense quiet. Soldiers prepared their gear in silence, families exchanged hurried goodbyes, and engineers double-checked every system. Despite the looming threat, there was an undercurrent of hope, a belief that, no matter what, humanity would endure. Amina walked through the winding corridors of Haven, her presence offering comfort to those she passed. She stopped at a makeshift memorial, a wall adorned with images of Earth, a reminder of all they had lost and all they fought to preserve. Relic joined her, his usually stoic expression softened by the moment. "Do you think we'll see it again?" he asked, gesturing to the images of Earth. Amina's gaze lingered on a photograph of a lush green forest, a stark contrast to the barren world they now called home. "Maybe not in our lifetimes," she admitted, "but if we win this fight, our descendants will." Relic nodded, his jaw set. "Then we better make sure we win." The first wave. The Galactic Council fleet arrived in a menacing display of power, their ships blotting out the sky above Arion 7. From the safety of Haven, Amina and her team watched as the first wave descended, a vanguard of sleek, heavily armed frigates. "Deploy the drones," Amina ordered. In an instant, hundreds of automated ships launched from hidden hangars beneath the planet's surface. The drones moved with precision, their advanced AI systems engaging the enemy in a chaotic dance of fire and maneuver. The skies above Arion 7 became a battlefield, lit by the glow of energy blasts and the fiery remains of destroyed ships. Relic, leading a squadron of human-piloted fighters, joined the fray. His voice crackled over the comms as he coordinated attacks. "Focus on their flanks. Keep them off balance." In the command center, Amina watched the battle unfold, her hands clenched into fists. Every second they held the line brought Phoenix Prime closer to activation. As the first wave faltered, the Council fleet regrouped, preparing for a second, more devastating assault. But within Haven, the pulse of Phoenix Prime grew stronger, its golden light a beacon of hope. The battle was far from over, but humanity had already proved one thing: they would not go quietly. The storm had begun, and humanity was ready to face it head-on. The Council's wrath. The Galactic Council's second wave surged forward like a tidal force, larger and more coordinated than the vanguard. Thousands of sleek, silver ships descended, their formation tightening as they advanced. Their weapon systems hummed with deadly energy, illuminating the void with ominous light. The sky above Arion 7 shimmered with a prelude to destruction. In Haven's command center, Director Amina Salari stood before the tactical display. The holographic projection of the battlefield showed the relentless progression of the Council fleet. Every move, every formation, spoke of an enemy that had spent millennia perfecting the art of war. "They're committing their main battle group," Commander Relic Ward observed, his voice grim. "This isn't just an attack, it's annihilation." Amina's eyes burned with determination. "Then let's remind them why humanity has survived against all odds. Deploy our second line of defense." The unleashing of fury. Below ground, massive hidden silos opened, releasing rows of heavily armored drones into the sky. These weren't the nimble fighters of the first wave, but hulking, tank-like machines bristling with advanced weaponry. Dubbed Hammer-class drones, they were designed for overwhelming firepower and resilience. As the drones rose to meet the Council's forces, the air erupted with explosions. The Hammer-class drones barreled through enemy formations, unleashing devastating energy blasts that tore through the sleek hulls of the Council's ships. But the enemy retaliated with equal ferocity. Streams of plasma fire rained down on the drones, turning the battlefield into a chaotic inferno. Relic, leading his squadron of fighters amidst the chaos, barked orders over the comms. "Hammer-class units, focus on their carriers. Fighters, provide cover. We need to keep their bombers off our drones." Amid the chaos, Kira Valen, the daring young pilot who had navigated the mission to Cache Alpha, found herself in the thick of the fight. Her voice crackled over the comms as she maneuvered her ship through enemy fire. "Commander, their bombers are targeting the surface. I'm moving to intercept." "Stay sharp, Valen," Relic warned. "Don't get reckless." "I'm not reckless," she shot back, her voice tinged with defiance. "I'm effective." The shield of hope. Meanwhile, in the depths of Haven, Dr. Leora Hensley oversaw the final preparations for Phoenix Prime. The weapon's golden core glowed brighter than ever, pulsing with a rhythm that seemed almost alive. The crystalline structure surrounding the core began to shift, emitting a low hum that resonated throughout the cavern. "It's nearly ready," Leora reported to Amina over the comms. "But the energy stabilization process is delicate. We need another 20 minutes. Amina's jaw tightened. "We'll give you the time. Just make sure it's worth it." The command center was a flurry of activity as Amina coordinated the defense. Every second counted, and every decision felt like a gamble. The Council's forces were relentless, their ships pressing closer despite the fierce resistance. Suddenly, an explosion rocked the command center, causing the holographic display to flicker. Amina grabbed the edge of the console to steady herself. Status report. "Enemy bombers breached the outer defenses," a technician reported, panic creeping into their voice. "They've hit one of the drone hangars." Amina gritted her teeth. "Redirect all available units to intercept. We can't afford to lose any more ground." The turning point. On the battlefield, Kira's fighter weaved through a hailstorm of plasma fire, her reflexes sharp and precise. Spotting a cluster of enemy bombers heading toward Haven, she pushed her ship to its limits, unleashing a barrage of missiles that obliterated two of the targets. "Gotcha," she muttered, but her victory was short-lived. A larger enemy fighter locked onto her tail, its weapons charging. "I've got you covered," came a familiar voice over the comms. Relic's fighter swooped in, blasting the enemy ship into pieces. "You're welcome." "Thanks, Commander," Kira replied, a grin spreading across her face. "Now let's finish this." The two fighters worked in tandem, their combined skill turning the tide against the enemy bombers. The skies above Haven began to clear, but the main battle still raged. The Council's relentless advance. In orbit above Arion 7, the Council's flagship loomed, a massive, angular vessel bristling with weaponry. Within its command deck, High Executor Talavrin observed the battle with cold detachment. His golden robes, adorned with the sigils of the Council, shimmered under the pale light of the ship's control panels. "They resist with more strength than expected," an aide commented nervously. Teller's expression remained unmoved. "Their defiance is predictable, but futile. Deploy the Strata cannons. Break their defenses." On his command, the flagship unleashed a series of devastating energy beams that tore through the Hammer-class drones and the automated fleet. The power of the Strata cannons was unparalleled, their energy cutting through the battlefield like a scythe. Haven's defenses began to falter under the relentless assault. Amina watched from the command center, her heart pounding. "How much longer until Phoenix Prime is operational?" she demanded. 10 minutes, Leora replied, her voice strained. "We're almost there." The spirit of humanity. Despite the overwhelming odds, humanity's defenders refused to yield. Relic and his pilots fought with unmatched skill, their courage igniting a fire among their comrades. On the ground, soldiers and engineers worked tirelessly to keep the defense systems online, their determination unwavering. In the command center, Amina addressed the entire resistance through the comms. "This is our moment. They think they've won, but they've underestimated us. Fight with everything you have. For Earth, for our future, for humanity." Her words echoed through Haven, galvanizing every soul within its walls. The defenders surged with renewed vigor, holding the line against the Council's advance. A race against time. As the battle raged, Phoenix Prime's core reached its final phase of activation. The golden light intensified, casting the cavern in a radiant glow. Leora monitored the readings, her hands moving deftly across the console. Stabilization complete. Phoenix Prime is ready. Amina's voice came through the comms, steady and resolute. "Deploy the Phoenix." With a press of a button, the weapon rolled to life. A massive beam of golden energy shot into the sky, engulfing the Council's fleet in a blinding light. Ships disintegrated on impact, their advanced shields no match for the weapon's power. The beam expanded, creating a shimmering barrier around Arion 7. The Council's forces faltered, their ships retreating as the barrier held firm. For the first time in centuries, humanity had turned the tide. The battle wasn't over, but the tide had shifted. The defenders of Haven stood battered but unbroken, their resolve stronger than ever. Humanity had delivered a message to the galaxy. They would not go quietly. The fight for survival had only just begun, and humanity was ready to reclaim its place among the stars. Shadows of Retribution. The aftermath of the Council's failed assault left the skies above Arion 7 scorched and silent. Twisted wreckage from enemy ships drifted in orbit, a grim testament to humanity's defiance. On the surface, the shimmering golden barrier created by Phoenix Prime pulsed faintly, a protective cocoon around Haven that seemed almost alive. But the victory was far from absolute. In the depths of Haven's command center, Director Amina Solari convened an emergency meeting. Holographic displays projected the battle's aftermath, areas of critical damage, casualties, and the Council's retreating fleet. The room was tense, the air heavy with the weight of the decisions to come. "They'll regroup," Commander Relic Ward stated, breaking the silence. His voice was firm, but his exhaustion showed in the dark circles under his eyes. "The Council doesn't accept defeat. They'll come back stronger, and next time, they won't underestimate us." Dr. Leora Hensley, who had just returned from the Phoenix Prime activation chamber, nodded in agreement. "The energy field won't hold forever. It's stable now, but extended use will drain our resources. We have weeks at best before the barrier collapses." Amina's gaze swept the room, her mind racing. "Then we can't wait for them to strike again. It's time to take the fight to them." Uncovering humanity's allies. As the Council reeled from its unexpected defeat, Amina ordered a review of the monolith's deeper archives. If humanity's ancestors had prepared Phoenix Prime, Perhaps they had left other tools to aid in the coming war. Deep within the monolith's encrypted files, a startling revelation emerged: the existence of an ancient alliance. Centuries before the Council's betrayal, humanity had fostered secret partnerships with rogue alien factions, races who had also suffered under the Council's oppressive rule. These allies, though scattered and fragmented, had once pledged loyalty to humanity in its time of need. "They're still out there," Leora announced during a strategy meeting. The files contain coordinates for key systems where these factions might still reside. If we can find them and convince them to join us, we could turn the tide. Relic frowned, his skepticism clear. "And if they've turned against us, it's been over 3 millennia. There's no telling what their loyalties are now." Amina raised a hand to silence the debate. "We take the risk. If these allies exist, they could be the key to our survival. We sent envoys immediately." The journey to reignite trust. 2 ships were dispatched on diplomatic missions to the farthest reaches of known space. The Resolute Dawn, helmed by Relic Ward, embarked on a dangerous journey to the Osirian Nebula, a region infamous for its treacherous magnetic storms. The nebula was rumored to be the hiding place of the Klissari, a nomadic alien race known for their mastery of advanced stealth technology. Meanwhile, the Starlight Vanguard, led by Kira Valen, ventured to the Tenebrous Rift. This desolate region of space was home to the Vulcan Syndicate, a fiercely independent faction of warriors who had once fought alongside humanity in secret wars against the Council. Radek's mission tested both his tactical skill and his patience. The Osirian Nebula was a labyrinth of distorted space-time anomalies, and the Klissari's distrust of outsiders was legendary. When the Resolute Dawn finally located a Klissari enclave hidden within the nebula, negotiations were fraught with tension. "We remember humanity," the Klissari elder hissed, her shimmering, multi-limbed form radiating suspicion. "You brought us hope once, and then you vanished, leaving us to face the Council alone." Radek's response was measured but impassioned. "And we've paid the price. Earth is gone, our people scattered. But now we fight to reclaim what was lost, not just for humanity, but for every race the Council has oppressed. Join us, and we can change the balance of power in the galaxy." The elder's gaze lingered on him, her eyes like liquid mirrors. "You speak with conviction. We will consider your proposal." A test of loyalty. Kira's mission to the Tenebrous Rift was equally perilous. The Vulcan Syndicate, once allies of humanity, had become mercenaries for hire, their loyalty dictated by the highest bidder. Convincing them to rejoin humanity's cause required more than words. Upon reaching the Syndicate's stronghold, Kira was brought before Vorak, their hulking leader, whose scars told the story of 1,000 battles. He studied her with a mix of amusement and disdain. "Humanity rises from its ashes to beg for help," he sneered. "Why should we risk our lives for a species that's already lost its home?" Kira stood her ground, her voice unwavering. "Because we're fighting for more than survival. We're fighting for freedom, for every race crushed under the Council's rule. And because you owe us. Without humanity, the Syndicate wouldn't exist." Vorak's laughter echoed through the chamber, but there was no malice in it. "Bold words, little human. I like that. Prove your worth, and we'll consider your offer." What followed was a grueling test of combat prowess and strategy. Kira faced Vulcan warriors in simulated battles, her skill as a pilot and leader pushed to the limit. When she emerged victorious, bloodied but unbroken, Vorak gave her a grudging nod of respect. "You have fire," he admitted. "The Vulcan Syndicate will fight with you, but only if you can keep us alive." Rallying the fleet. Weeks later, both missions returned to Haven with mixed success. The Klissari had pledged their stealth technology and reconnaissance expertise, but their forces were limited. The Vulcan Syndicate, by contrast, brought an armada of heavily armed warships, but their loyalty remained conditional. In the depths of Haven, the combined fleets gathered for the first time. humanity's drones and fighters standing side by side with Kisari-coat vessels and Vulcan battlecruisers. The sight was a testament to the power of unity, a glimmer of hope in the face of overwhelming odds. As Amina addressed the assembled forces, her voice rang with conviction. "We have endured betrayal, exile, and annihilation, but we are still here. And now we are not alone. Together we will face the Council and show them the strength of those they sought to destroy." Cheers erupted across the cavernous hangar, the sound carrying through the tunnels of Haven like a rallying cry. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, humanity and its allies stood together, ready to strike back. The countdown to war. With the combined fleet preparing for a counteroffensive, Haven became a hive of activity. Engineers worked tirelessly to repair damage and upgrade systems, while soldiers trained side by side with their alien counterparts. Phoenix Prime's golden barrier remained a beacon of hope, but everyone knew it was only a matter of time before the Council returned. As the final preparations were made, Amina looked out over the bustling city she had helped build. Her heart swelled with pride and resolve. The coming battle would determine the fate of not just humanity, but the galaxy itself. The shadows of Retribution had gathered, and the storm of war was about to break.